WBCN with a production by Ric Ocasek by the Bad Brains.
Yeah.
Rick, how did you ever come in contact with the Bad Brains?
Well, I went to see him play, and I was so totally amazed by it that I, asked them if they wanted to come up and do some recording, so we did it.
The Bad Brains, in case anyone, are from Washington, D.C. They're a black hardcore band. Mm-hmm. Also, they're Rastas. And there we heard 3 in a row from the new Bad Brains album. Joshua's song, Band in D.C., and the final one, a great song, How Low Can a Punk Get?
Yeah.
Now, they did release a 12-inch a little bit earlier. Some of that's from this record, right?
Yeah, the 12-inch was, actually unmixed versions of some of these songs. They wanted to get a record out pretty quickly after we recorded because they were on tour. So they put out that AP, even though it wasn't quite finished.
So part of it's kind of the rapid fire hardcore slam music, and other parts are
another is all dub.
Kind of dub
stuff.
They can do both. It's amazing they can transform from one to the other.
Definitely.
And Greg was just before that, Greg Hawkes.
Mm-hmm.
On the Band of Cars, Niagara Falls. A unique segue there, right here at WBCN. This is Nocturnal Emissions now, and Ric Ocasek from Boston is right here in the studio with projects he's worked on and projects he's produced and projects he's performed on. And this album just suddenly came out, Rick. It was naturally just going to grab the king of comedy with the new Scorsese film starring Robert De Niro, also a cameo by Tony Randall in there. Right. And Scorsese's always been kind of into rock and roll. He's always picked great songs, and on this record, B.B. King, The Pretenders, Talking Heads, Ricky Lee Jones, Robbie Robertson, who produced it. Now, you wrote a song for this as well.
Yes, sure.
Now, did Scorsese just call you up out of the blue and say, Rick, I need a song for this movie?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I got called out of the blue and, said that we wanted to use music in this particular film that hadn't been, released before. In other words, they wanted new songs from some of these bands that you named, things that weren't on records, so that when they completed the movie, it would have a timeless effect. In other words, the music, you wouldn't be able to say, well, I've heard that song, I know when this movie's happening. They wanted it to be timeless, so they went after trying to get the whole album full of, unreleased songs. I think Chain Gang's on that album, but that I think that just the movie got put back a little bit, and I think they didn't want to wait for Chain Gang, so Chain Gang came out. But other than that, all those other songs are pretty.
Now, did you talk with only Scorsese? Did you talk with Robbie Robertson and Robbie as well?
Robbie was the one who's pretty much coordinated the whole effort. He does that for Martin now.
Now, did he tell you what the movie was about and what you should be thinking of, and what
Not
period
at all.
when the song would come in? We haven't seen the movie, so we don't know when the song comes in.
It comes in when they're getting ready to steal Jerry Lewis, and they're riding in a cab. They're waiting for him. But see, they didn't ask to have any songs tailor-made for this movie. They, in fact, just listened to some extra songs that I had and chose what they thought would fit. They didn't tell me what scene it would be used for or anything like that. I think they were just mostly, into picking it for themselves and using the music how they would, wish to use it.
Now, the woman who sings background vocals on here is a woman named Antonio Di Portaga.
Mm-hmm.
Is she from Boston?
No, she's from New York, actually. She has a group called Antonio and the Operators.
And so
she sang on Jimmy Jimmy as well.
And so some of these people here from Steal the Night are from your
the same sessions, in fact. It's just a song that I didn't use on my record.
and you gave the Scorsese for King of Comedy, so we'll hear it when Jerry Lewis gets stolen, but we'll hear it right now on WBCN. WBCN with Ministry. We mentioned the record should be out in a week or two when we played To Work for Love earlier. It's the 12-inch that's out. That's Wanted to Tell Her.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good one. The record is
Maybe that'll keep Al in Boston. Al wants to leave Boston because he's totally convinced there's a ghost in his house.
Well, he just has to move.
He's totally convinced. So maybe he'll hang around.
Well, if anyone has a place for Al to stay where there's not a ghost. Al, originally from Chicago, Al Jorgensen, he's now living in Boston for quite some time. And that's Ministry, and Wanted to Tell Her from his forthcoming album, due any day now on Arista Records. And that was done over at Synchro Sound, and we have lots of Boston music being done over at Synchro Sound. Lots of many people working over Synchro Sound these days. Well, just prior to that, we did hear "Steal the Night." That was Ric's song from The King of Comedy. Now, Ric, I heard a car song in Over the Edge, which wasn't actually a bad movie, where the kids kind of take over a suburb, which they're really bored. They kind of torch it, which kind of got the punk spirit up in me again.
Right.
But, I mean, did you give them that song? Did they call you up on that song, or they?
Well, they just basically tell you they're going to use it.
That was just what I needed from that, right?
Yeah. You know, once a song's released on a record, anyone can use it as long as, you know.
They don't have to ask permission.
They don't have to. You know, they could just use it if they wanted to. However, you know, they will ask you. They'll send you a letter and say, you mind if I use it or whatever. You know, but, you know, like, for instance, if someone wants to do a compilation album of, you know, their greatest hits or something like that, one could just put that record out as long as they, you know, since it's already in the public domain, you know, pay the royalty on it. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, labels like, you know, whatever, K-Tel or whatever, can make, you know, 50 greatest hits on one record, you know.
And they don't have to get your permission to do that? They can just slap it? I mean, anyone can go up and take a cut and just make a record from it?
Yeah. Sure.
You can't stop them, really. That's amazing.
Well, it's not, I don't know if you, yeah. I don't think you can, you know. Maybe you could stop them if you really felt like getting involved in it, but I think once it's in the public domain and on acetate and on record and copywritten and all that business, you know, one can use it as they wish.
So we can, so soon you'll be on K-Tel, huh?
I don't know. I haven't been, you know, I haven't had that pleasure yet, and I hope I don't.
Well, we have more here. The Ric Ocasek's in the studios here at WBC, and more things done at Synchro Sound. This one here coming up is a Boston band once again. Now, you don't play on this one here, right?
No, I don't play on this one at all. This is a song or part of an EP that David produced for Ooh Wow Wow. A song called Friends, which I like quite a lot. So I thought I'd bring it along.
Okay, here's Ooh Ah Ah with David Robinson here at WBCN.